Did you know the LA Kings have their own culinary partner? It's Superfood, celebrating 10 years and over 1 million meals served. Since 2020, the Kings have trusted Superfood to fuel their players. Now through Simply Lunch, you can bring that same performance-driven food to your office. Because when people eat better, they work better. Visit mysuperfood.com. That's mysuperfd.com. Or call 213-973-6145. Qualified companies can enjoy a free lunch for up to 10 managers.
Byfield base of the circle, back to Fiala up top, to the middle. Kempe wants to switch with Fiala, and then Kempe shoots and scores! A one-timer from the top of the right circle.
You're listening to All the Kings Men, the official podcast of the LA Kings.
Dallas will get to it first until it rolls forward. Byfield after it takes it away. 2-on-1. Byfield with Kempe. Byfield to Kempe. He scores! Adrian Kempe, the overtime winner again!
Now, here's your host, Jesse Cohen.
Welcome back to All the Kings Men. I'm Jesse Cohen. Joining us today, number 9 for your LA Kings, Adrian Kempe. How are you doing today, Adrian?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And featuring Zach Dooley. How are you doing today, Zach?
Also good.
Adrian, I want to start off and just ask, how's fatherhood treating you?
It's been good. Busy right now. She's getting bigger. She's 8 months right now, so she's starting to move around a lot. Stand up, looking for all the sharpest corners in the house. So it's, pretty busy at home, but it's a lot of fun as well. You're starting to pick up things and starting to learn things pretty much every day. So it's pretty cool to see.
Can she skate backwards yet?
No, not yet, but pretty soon probably.
All right.
How much perspective do you feel like fatherhood's given you? I remember talking with Kevin last year, and he's like, you have a bad day before, and you go home, and you still have a bad day, and then now you go home, and you're like, oh, like I can spend time with my kid. It just like puts his life into perspective.
Yeah, it does, and it's been nice for me because even the games and stuff like that, you don't. For me personally, I don't like to focus or think about the games for too long after the games. Even if I have a good or bad game, I try to put it aside and then focus on the next one. And it's been really helping me when I get home and, how much the focus just shifts to something else. And it doesn't matter if you had the worst game or practice ever. Like Kevin said before, if I had a bad game, I would come home and then I would think about it for hours. And now I come home and it's just like out of the way right away. So it really helps me, put hockey to the side when I'm not at the rink. And then, once I'm here, I can focus on it again. But it's been really helping me a lot, I think, in just the mental stage for sure.
I'm assuming there's a group text among the teammates. Is there a separate one for dads?
No, there's not actually. But maybe I'll start one now.
You're not from LA, obviously. You're drafted here, but you're from Sweden. But now your family is from here. Did that influence your decision to sign an extension the length that you did?
Yeah, for sure. Their opinion matters too, and they're really happy here. I hope my daughter's really happy here. She can't really tell me yet, but no, my wife's really happy here. My family, her family, when they come visit, they like it here. They've always enjoyed coming, and it obviously it matters what they thought as well. But they've only been in one place too, but everything has been so good here, and everybody's treating us so well here that we never had a thought about going anywhere else. So that was always the main goal to get it done here and just play here as long as I can.
Before the start of the season, Zach and I were talking about the upcoming season and the storylines and what Kings fans should look at and think about. And one of the things we talked about was your place in the all-time Kings categories. I'm pretty sure at the moment you're 14th in points and 10th overall in goals. And I think the phrase I used at one point was if we're not already there, we're getting very close to the point where you can't tell the story of the LA Kings franchise without talking about Adrian Kempe. If you finish out your contract here, that'll be impossible. Like, you will be part of that story, impossible to remove. Did that play? I mean, do you think about that kind of thing at all?
Not everything that you just said, but I think, playing for one franchise or playing majority of your career for one franchise is pretty cool. And, you see all-time greats and all the best players that have been on one team, how big and how, important and how much they matter to the team and the organization. So that's, that was something that I was thinking too, that, if I play whatever it is, 17, 18, 19 years for the Kings, that's going to be pretty cool, not just for me, but I think for the organization and for the fans and everybody that's been around. So that was definitely something that I was thinking about. But obviously, yeah, it's like I said before, everything has been so good here that I didn't want to change anything.
What has been just so special about like Los Angeles and the Kings organization for you?
I mean, it's hard because once I got here, there was so different than right now, because now, I have a family and everything. When I was so young, I came here and, didn't really have a lot of friends. So there was not a lot of Swedish guys here. So it was pretty tough the first couple of years to, get to know the language, get to know, different culture, everything like that. It's so different than Sweden. And, I liked it right away, but it took me a little bit to figure out like just how it worked and everything around it. So, but then once I figured that out a couple of years later, then, I really started to like it. And then, now I like to, spend, half my summers here. That's how much I like it here. So it's, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's, weather is part of it. But I think, just, it's pretty calm. It's pretty relaxing, you got everything here that you need. I'm pretty much just staying in all day still, but if I want to do something, I still have it here, so it's pretty nice to have. So yeah.
When reading up about your life, one thing that stood out to me and to Zach, and we briefly talked about it, you've invested in something called Eyeballers, which, for those who don't know, is an esports company. How did you get into esports?
Always been a big video gamer in general. Always played all kind of different games growing up. Never really played Counter-Strike, actually, which is the team that I own. So it's a little bit weird. But I think just esports in general, it's always been a thing that I'd like to watch. When I'm not at the rink, when I'm home, whatever, I like to play a lot of games. I like to watch a lot of games. And just got an opportunity to invest in the Counter-Strike team, and it's something that I like to watch. So yeah, just kind of happened. Yeah.
What gets you more upset, a Kings loss or an Eyeballers loss?
They play all the time. They play as many games as we do, probably. So I don't really. It's hard to follow all the games, but I don't get too upset when they lose.
The other thing I learned from your Wikipedia, it said that you wear number 9 for Fernando Torres. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is he your favorite Liverpool player of all time?
Yeah, probably. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, favorite Liverpool player for sure of all time. That was kind of the player that got me into soccer more and more. Just liked watching him. It's kind of the guy that got me cheering for Liverpool as well when I was younger. So he was one of my favorite players for sure.
It's always a little interesting to me to think of like you are a pro athlete, but you're also like a fan of pro sports. And for you, it's like Liverpool. Do you have like a favorite fan moment with that team? Or any team, I guess, that you like?
I mean, I went to the Champions League finals a couple of years ago when they played Madrid and Paris. That was pretty cool. They didn't win, but it was, the atmosphere and, how many fans they had there was crazy. So that was pretty cool to be a part of. But other than that, I mean, Gaborik was my favorite hockey player growing up. I ended up playing with him, so that was pretty cool. Never told him that, though. I don't know if
he watches this show every single day. So.
I bet he does. Yeah. No, but that was pretty cool as well, I think.
So if that's where number 9 comes from, a few weeks ago, I don't even remember why, I was watching old clips of an old Kings game, and number 39 skated across my screen and got an assist. Where did number 30, it was you, by the way, where did number 39 come from?
No, that was just I think that was my training camp number. So that was I was number 9 in Ontario. And then when you get called up, you wear your training camp number. So was
just a happy coincidence that 9 was in it?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't pick it, at least.
You were drafted as a center. You played as a center, then you played as a left winger. Now you're a right winger. having played all three positions in the National Hockey League, it seems like your preference now is right wing. Is that just because it's the most recent and you've had success, or is there something about that position that you like?
No, I like playing right wing more. I mean, now I played it for I can't remember 4 or 5 years straight, pretty much. So it's I'm more comfortable on that side. But I also think its benefits playing on the right wing, especially when you're having the puck and entering the O-zone and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, when you're out there, you end up on the left, you end up on the right. I just like being on the right a little bit more and having my stick to the inside instead of having to stick to the outside a little bit when you skate down the left side. So that's just my preference. And I think it's a little bit harder to learn, but once you get to know it and once you learn it, I think it's beneficial.
You think, because I think you could have done this in another lifetime, that you could have been an NHL defenseman? If you just were trained with your exact game, but you played D, do you think you could have gotten there?
Maybe, because I'm a good skater, so I think it would have helped me for sure. I don't know about my defensive game, but maybe. I don't know. NHL defenseman is hard, but possible.
More hip checks.
Two things.
Yeah.
First of all, you do know about your defensive game. Yeah. It's excellent. So I appreciate the humbleness, but get out of here. Secondly, the hip check that I was getting at. Have you ever spoken to a defenseman about that? Like, how do you know the timing on how to throw an open ice neutral zone hip check?
I used to hit a lot when I was younger. A lot of hip checks. I actually played defenseman for a year.
There you go.
When I was I was 14 or 15. So I played a full year defenseman. Not where I learned how to hit, but I was when I was younger, I used to hit not a lot, but I used to get some big hits sometimes. So I still kind of have it in the back of my head, I think.
Like Rob Blake-esque sometimes.
Yeah. We've talked to guys who made the transition from defense to forward at younger stages of their life, and they talked about being able to translate what they learned on defense to forward. Do you think that helped you at all?
A little bit, I think. But I think in general, I've always been such a good skater, and especially good skating backwards. I think when I was younger, I was faster backwards than I was forward, and still pretty good at skating backwards. So I think if I ever sometimes I end up playing the defense still. So I think it helps a lot.
There are guys like Bufflin and Burns who have like switched at times, but they switched for like extended stretches, like a year or 2 years. Do you think that we could ever get to a place where there could be a guy like a utility guy in baseball or like soccer players where game to game, depending on a team, they might be able to go from forward to D?
I mean, maybe possible, especially when you look at other sports like soccer. Obviously, they have more players on the pitch or on the ice. So it's a little bit different. But I think it could work, and especially, maybe moving forward in the future. Depends what team you're playing, what kind of strategy you have going into the game. It could definitely be a possibility.
All right, I'm just going to extend this hypothetical. If you were to play defense, would you be on the left side or the right side?
That's a good question.
I think I would be on the left side. I think I like playing left side D better, just because, in the O-zone, I think doesn't really matter what side, but I think you can go down the wall easily as a defenseman in the O-zone. But then, like I said, I like playing the right side because I have my stick to the inside. So it's hard to say, but I think defensively and, in terms of, passing with your partner, I think it's better to be on your strong sides.
You talked about your skating. Skating is something that I'm sort of fascinated by because I have no eye for it, right? I feel like I can watch a lot of hockey and I can see, okay, good passing, good shooting, whatever. But skating, someone says, that guy's a great skater, that guy's a bad skater. And I'm like, oh, if you say so, I don't know. They both get to the same spot. How important for you when you're playing somebody else or playing with a teammate, how important to you is skating to the success of a hockey player?
I think it's important. I think it's more important now than it was maybe even when I came into the league or maybe 20 years ago. I think everybody that comes into the league now is such a good skater. So it's making, me and all the other guys that are in the league now that, you got to keep up with all the young guys because I feel like when I got into the league, even, there's a lot of good skaters, but there's guys that weren't as good at skating too. And now you see all these young guys come in and, they're pretty much good at everything. So I think it's really important to be a good skater. I mean, for me, I think it is. Obviously, there's guys that are not as good of a skaters and they're still unbelievable players. But I think if you're a good skater, I think you can benefit from that a lot more. And you can, for me personally, I don't have to think about my skating as much, I feel like. I know my glide is really good, so I don't have to maybe use my legs, and I don't feel like I get as tired as maybe some other guys do out on the ice. So I think it's pretty helpful in that area.
You feel like you've gotten more like guidance in that area? Like you say, oh, like the glide specifically. I feel like that's something 20 years ago they might not have been telling you or having like numbers on, right?
Yeah, I think glide is a hard thing because I feel like glide is something you either have or you don't have. And you can be a good skater, but you don't have good glide. This means you have to work a lot harder than some other guys do. But, you look at some guys and, they just have good glide. It looks like they're, they don't have to try when they skate. So I think it's important. I don't know how you become a better glider, but I kind of always had a good glide. So I think it's been, helping me. Yeah, like I said, use less power and effort out there to skate and save as much energy as possible.
You talked about getting tired. At the time that we're recording this, the Kings have played in 13 overtime games so far this season. In an overtime shift, you're probably only playing, maybe 3 or 4 shifts max in that 5-minute overtime. Does it build up? Like if you play a ton of overtime games, does it have a really noticeable effect on your energy level, or is it just because it's so few shifts, it doesn't really matter?
I mean, I think it does a little bit maybe, but now it's hard because now we play so many overtime games, so I couldn't tell you if it's from the overtime or not. But, the schedule has been really tough this year in general, so I think that is a major factor. I don't think overtime does that much, but I love overtime. You get really excited for it. You have a chance to be a hero out there, so it's a fun time to play in, and I don't think it affects your tiredness that much. I think it's more just a schedule in general that's really tight and that's get you sore and tired.
I think the big reason for the schedule is probably the Olympics, right? And you were obviously already selected to Team Sweden. 4 nations, I'm sure was cool, but how just special is this opportunity going to be once you get there?
It's going to be really cool.
If they build the rink.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if we get there. No, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's something I've been dreaming of since I was a kid. I've always wanted to play in the Olympics. You watch a lot of it when you grow up, whether it's hockey or skiing or whatever. It's pretty awesome to see. So I'm super excited. Trying not to focus too much on that right now, but I think once we get a little closer, it's going to start creeping a little bit. But it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited for it.
Do you have memories of the 06 team that won that year?
Yeah, I do. A few memories at least. But I think, that was, comeback was crazy.
4 Nations tournament got a lot of press, but a lot of that press was USA versus Canada and just that one game. And it's been hyped and people talk about it. Was that tournament more intense than most international tournaments? And how much of that was just media hype? And as playing for a country that wasn't in that one game, does any of that carry over for you?
It was intense. It was definitely the most intense tournament I played in, but I've also only played in one tournament that's best on best, so it's a little different. World Championships is fun, but it's also, way more teams. All the best players are maybe not there, so there's still playoffs going on over here, so it's a little bit different in that term, and in terms of the media and the hype and all that kind of stuff. There was only that one tournament that was going on at the time, so it was a really intense tournament to play in, really fun. I think Olympics is going to be probably something similar because the focus is just all at one spot at one time, and obviously it's not just 4 teams, but it's more than that. But I think, it's going to be another great event.
I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, unfortunately, but when the Olympics are played on the Western Hemisphere in North America, it seems like USA and Canada do really well. When they're played in Europe, it seems like Sweden and Finland do really well. It's in Europe. Is that count as home ice advantage in a tournament like this?
I mean, maybe for some teams, because, it's closer for fans to travel, and if you have more fans, then maybe it feels like more home ice advantage for you. But we'll see once we get there. Rink is supposed to be really small, so maybe that's better for the guys that play over here. But we'll see. It's going to be super fun. I think all the teams that are in the tournament, are going to have a lot of fans there. So I think it's going to be pretty special for everybody that's there.
Will you trash talk any Kings teammates that wind up on opposing teams?
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
Do you think a slightly smaller rink is good for your game?
I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see. No, I think NHL size is good. I think personally, because I know Sweden and a lot of other leagues in Europe play on the bigger size rink. I think they all should play on NHL size rink. I think it's more fun to watch. I think it's more fun to play. But once we get to the smaller rink than NHL size, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But it's going to be tight. Probably not a ton of chances going either way. But it's going to be fast-paced game. It's going to be, entertaining, I think.
Have you seen the clips? I forget the name of the sport. Zach, help me out. It's ice hockey, but the rink is the size of a soccer pitch.
Like, oh, yeah.
We have that in Sweden. It's called bandy.
That's it, bandy. Yeah. Have you ever tried bandy?
No, I have not, actually.
It looks crazy.
I watched a lot, but I've never tried it. But yeah, it's a lot of skating. Maybe
yeah, looks like it.
Yeah. Good for guys with glide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One final one from me before we get you out here, and Zach, if you've got to follow up. This season, the schedule has been weird, and the season, just league-wide, has been bizarre. The gap between first and fifth place in the league is the same as the gap between fifth and I think 28th or 29th. I mean, there's so much bunching up. Does that make it harder to evaluate where you're at as a team?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Usually I don't try to look at the standings too much throughout the season, but I just know it's super tight, and whether it doesn't matter what team you're playing. The one time you're playing a team that's second in the league, and just like you said, the next time you're playing a team that's seventh in your division, and the point difference is not that big. So it's just you just feel like every game is so important and so tight and matters so much. I feel like that it's been kind of just not thinking about the standings at all. Just every game is going to matter so much, and you're just playing a good team every night that you have to bring your A game, and that's probably why I'm not saying that's the only reason why we go to OT pretty much every game, but all the games are tight because all the teams are a lot better than they have been, and just the game is tighter in general.
I know that your guys' focus is on the games, on winning games, but as you're alongside Kopi, I know you guys have a good relationship. As he goes around the league and you see him start to get recognized and honored, and you see the respect that he garners, how kind of special is it to just be a part of that as he goes through his last year?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, to see how much he meant for the game, not just here in LA, but, all around the league, and, the recognition he gets from other fans, players. It's, it's pretty cool. Yeah, especially, playing alongside him and being his teammate for me the last 10 years. He's meaningful to me and to everybody here. But it's pretty good and pretty important to see that all the other teams care about him too, and how much they respect him. And I appreciate that everything is done for the league.
Real last one, and then we're going to let you go. Last time you and I talked, I asked you if you prefer Juice or Adrian, and you said Adrian because nobody ever calls you that anymore. Does anybody ever call you Michael?
No. Actually, there's a couple of guys sometimes on the team that Trevor says it sometimes. A couple of trainers that calls me Michael every now and then. But yeah, prefer Adrian still over Michael. But
all right.
Yeah.
Well, Adrian Kempe, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. And best of luck to you out there on Saturday against Calgary.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And congrats on the new camp.
Thank you.